I'm going to replace the skid shoes on this Ego two-stage snowblower. You can see it's pretty chewed up. I've used this thing maybe 6 to 8 times this winter, and winter's not even over, and it's already, cooked. My driveway is pretty flat concrete, and it's not that big. Medium-sized driveway, I guess. So unless you want to adjust the height on those things, like every other time you use it, and then flip the shoes over and burn up the other side. And then you got to watch out for that scraper blade get, worn out from scraping on the ground. I just don't want to mess with them that often. Once a season should be good. But I think this is a 15 millimeter socket to get those off. The bolts are a 3-inch center on the Ego. Those bolts are 3-inch centers, so whatever you get, you need to have 3-inch centers or be able to, slide on your bolts that you have. I'm not going to opt to flip this over because I don't want to mess with it. I found these metal ones are pretty heavy duty. They're like $17. I got a link to these, the ones that I got here, under the More button if you want to check that out. But they weren't the ones I was looking at. They were anywhere from $50 to $75 for a pair of metal shoes, about this thickness. But I didn't want to mess with that, so go to the other side and get the old one off. And when you put the new ones on, just snug up your nuts and washers. If you don't have a lock nut or a lock washer on there, I suggest you put some on there so they don't loosen up on you. But just snug them up and don't crank them tight just yet, because we're going to adjust the height of the snow blower before you crank them down all the way. So you can see these things are chewed up pretty bad, and I don't want to mess with this thing every other time. So I'm going to put these metal ones on here, and we'll see. You can tell my scraper bar is already worn a little bit on the one side. This thing's almost brand new. You can replace that scraper bar, but I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's worn out enough yet. But those things are replaceable. Those old ones, I'm probably just going to pitch those. I got a 1/4-inch piece of heavy-duty cardboard there. It's going to squish a little bit when I stick it under here. I'm going for a heavy 1/8 of an inch gap between the ground and the scraper there, and I'm going to make sure I get under the far corner there, so my cardboard's not underneath the blade that's worn out. You can see the one side's kind of wore out. I don't want it to be crooked, so I think it'll even itself out over time, because I'm still going to hit a bump once in a while. But I want that thing to be low enough to the ground where I don't have to shovel the driveway after I'm done snow blowing it. Doesn't make any sense. So anyways, the shoes, after you get your shims under there, make sure it's flat on the ground on both sides, and then crank your nuts down, and get that thing nice and tight so it doesn't slip on you or loosen up over time, and get both sides tightened real good, and pop your shims out, and you're pretty much good to go. I guess I'm going to check this once in a while just to see how they're wearing. But man, these metal ones that's a good 1/4-inch metal there. It's got to hold up better than that plastic, and I'm not worried about scratching the driveway a little bit here and there. I don't really care about that. But eventually they'll get rusty and need flip, but hopefully won't have to mess with it but once a year. So hope that helps.